I'm Melissa Torres.
And I'm Marmy Leach.
And this is Movin with Mel and Marm.
I feel very professional in my
You look really good.
business casual in my sports
I like
coat.
it. Sports coat and jeans.
I tried to channel If I Were the Man.
Yes.
I was really working on it.
I
was
love
what
it.
in my closet is the most, and it's not sparkly, but it's
That's
like the
okay.
most.
If I were the man. I love it. I love that song. It's so fun.
Yeah.
Okay, well, I am super excited about.
I know you're so excited. I have taken a crash course on Taylor Swift.
I told Melissa everything that she needs to know about Taylor yesterday, like all the drama, all the things that have happened in her life. So I hope you remember it all.
Yep. It's like a pop quiz.
What all the songs mean,
Yeah.
all the Easter eggs.
Yep. Okay.
Oh, I didn't tell you about Easter eggs, did
You
I?
didn't tell me about Easter eggs.
So Easter eggs are like a little surprise, like a clue that she puts in either music videos or like on social media or like in interviews about like what's going to be happening next in her life or like in her music.
Oh, nice.
So like, for example, at the end of the Karma music video, she's holding like a cup of coffee that's a clock, because clocks, she has like a lot of symbolism.
Mhm.
So like clocks are a big thing in her music. And so she has like her left thumb is blue and it's on the 10, and then her right thumb is painted black and it's on the 2. And so the theory is that 1989 re-release was released in October, which it was, and that Reputation's going to come in February.
Ooh.
And I'm really excited about Reputation because that's my favorite
Yep.
album.
Well, we should back up a little bit and talk about...
I'm sorry, I'm getting really carried away.
We're getting ahead of ourselves. Yeah. So anyone who knows anything about Marmy knows that she loves Taylor Swift.
I'm a big Swiftie.
So we thought it'd be fun.
And like, hopefully not in the annoying way, maybe sometimes annoying, but like, I just love her music. It's so relatable. It gets me through some real hard times in life, you know.
I will say, after going on the Taylor Swift deep dive, I respect Taylor a whole lot more, just knowing about her.
Yeah.
But we thought it'd be fun to talk about her real estate holdings because she is quite the real estate investor.
Yeah, she is. She's a great businesswoman.
Yep.
So, like in doing our research, there's a lot of articles that are valuing all of her properties together around $80 million, which is definitely a lot.
Mm-hmm.
But it's interesting because I think that I could see her purchasing something soon because her net worth went up a ton in the past year. Mm-hmm. She reached billionaire status in like a few weeks ago, I think it was reported.
Yep, which is amazing.
Yeah. So like if you're a billionaire and your holdings are 80 million, like percentage wise, I could see her buying more for more investments.
Yep.
So it'd be interesting to see where she buys.
Yes.
Her very first thing that she purchased was her penthouse in Nashville.
Yes. And it's pretty modern especially like compared to her other real estate. Like this is very modern. And she did all the interior designing herself. And
it's so cute.
It is like so eclectic and definitely not what I would expect like with this pop star.
Yeah.
And I guess she was at a different time. She's 20 years old when she purchased her first property. Yeah. So it's a different life stage, but it's almost like a movie set or a theater set.
Yeah, she's like a theater nerd for sure. Mm-hmm. And she's not, but that's the thing is she's not your typical pop star.
Right.
She's like the relatable like pop star that was probably a dork in high school. And, you know, now the dorks are cool.
Yeah.
Yeah.
I love it. And it's just,
what is that movie? Revenge of the Nerds.
Yes.
Yeah.
And it's so amazing because like looking from the outside, not really, and it's not that I don't like, you know, Taylor, that I never liked her. It's just that I just never had the chance to like really, I'm not super up on pop culture. So I never did like a deep dive or like followed her closely. But just like from the outside, like she's just so beautiful and you just, you know, hear music and always think like, oh, she's just on top of it and just like any other pop star, but she's definitely not.
Yeah. Yeah. So I think the Nashville penthouse is cool. So she also has a house in Nashville too. I think it's like a Gregorian revival house. She really likes those historic, like homes with like a lot of historic significance to them.
Yep.
That one's got like some cool like Greek columns in the front. I don't know what the inside of that one looks like though.
Yeah, we weren't able to find any pictures on that.
Yeah.
So it'd be interesting to get a sneak peek someday.
Yeah.
And she also bought her mom a house in Nashville.
Oh, she did. Okay. Yeah. So I guess her mom lives there, and I've heard her dad lives in St. Petersburg.
Nice.
So, yeah. Then going to some of my favorite ones, the Tribeca apartment in New York. Very, very cool.
Yes, and this is amazing because she's like buying up this building.
I feel like she almost owns the entire like street at this point.
Mm-hmm.
Because I think she bought her first apartment in Tribeca, renovated that, and then ended up buying like a 3-story townhome that's like next door. So I don't know if she ended up, like, I think a lot of times in New York when people do that, they connect them and make like a bigger place. Yeah. I don't know if she did that or maybe it was like for her security team. But then a lot of the articles said that a few years later, she purchased another apartment in that same building. Mm-hmm. So...
And I think she did combine the first two.
Oh, she did.
Like a big. And could you imagine, like, buying 2 townhomes and combining, like, knocking out the interior-exterior wall? Like, that is so crazy. And
it's so New York.
Amazing. Yeah, and that's so different than Texas because you would never, like, you wouldn't really need to ever do that in Texas. I mean, we do have some condos, we do have some townhomes, but it's just not really a thing. So it's so wild for me to imagine.
Yeah. Like, well, did you ever watch Sex and the City?
Yes. Did I follow it? I've seen episodes.
Well, there's like a famous scene where Carrie Bradshaw, like, I think she gets the apartment next door. I hope I'm telling this right because this is what my memory has. But she gets the apartment next door and like tears down the wall and makes herself a bigger apartment. And then in the Mindy Project, Mindy Kaling, I think, takes inspiration from that scene because there's a time where she just kind of needs to be on her own and she's like, I can do this. And I think she gets the apartment upstairs and does some stairs or something like that. So I think it's very New York to do that.
I love that.
Well, they don't have any more land there.
Well, that's true. So if you want bigger, you just got to work within your walls.
Yeah. Yeah, exactly. Here in Texas, I mean, we just keep.
Yeah, you just go an hour out and you can get land.
And we'll just keep on going out.
Yep.
Will it ever stop till we hit Oklahoma? So going back to the Tribeca apartment, she rented a place on Cornelia Street.
Yes.
And I've told you about this. So this is like a very famous, it was a carriage house on Cornelia Street. And it's so cute. We'll put a picture up. But it has like a U-shaped wooden garage door with 2 pedestrian doors on each side. And she rented that while she was doing the whole remodel to her Tribeca place. And it's a very, very famous place because she has the song Cornelia Street that she wrote when she was dating Joe Alwyn. And she said she never walked Cornelia Street again if they broke up. So
you won't see her there.
No, but it's a lot of people, like if you're going to New York and you love Taylor Swift, like people will go to Cornelia Street and like take a picture just to see it. But can you imagine what the person who lives there now is?
I mean, I feel like if you're going to live, actually, that place got turned into a furniture showroom.
Oh, it did?
And then sold.
Oh, okay.
And I don't know if now it's residential or commercial, but I think that if you buy a house that was owned by a famous person or like rent a place that was owned by a famous person, like you want that.
That's true. You want it, or like you just have to know it's going to come with the territory.
Right.
Yeah. And she did rent that for like $39,000 a month.
Yes.
Which is crazy.
Yes. Which is like probably the average salary. Yeah. So, amazing.
Yeah. Well, it probably wasn't just her. She probably had her security team there too. So
I've been to New York once. I went the first weekend I found out well, the first weekend I had morning sickness with Nicholas.
Oh.
So we were there for a whole 48 hours and I was not feeling great. And
That's a bummer.
It was a bummer. I just remember everything was so small and so expensive.
And like so many people.
We went through, like in an Uber, drove through Times Square. I looked out the window and I'm like, okay, next.
Okay, but Times Square is like, that's
very touristy,
yeah.
But you have to see it.
You have to see it, yeah.
And then I had a friend that was living there at the time, so we saw like some of the like more local places. But,
yeah.
I have gotten used to everything is bigger and better in Texas.
Yeah.
I like my space.
Yeah. Well, I grew up in Kentucky, so things are a lot more old world there too than here. Like people didn't build new all the time. It was definitely like more if you had like an older historic home that was like really celebrated. And I don't know if it's still like this. It could have also just been like the time that I grew up, but like finding like original tile in a house, like that was like really celebrated too.
Yeah. Well, and I feel like different neighborhoods in Dallas, like that's a thing too.
Yeah.
Now we are, I think, too quick to tear things down in Dallas.
I agree.
I mean, it definitely, there's a lot of historic homes that, you know, significant
especially
homes.
in Highland Park.
Yes.
It's really sad.
Yes.
Yeah.
And that have been torn down. There's one house in Lakewood. Is it on Avalon or they just got a permit to tear it down and there's like this big petition to try to save it. So Lakewood it's happening too. But then we also have the conservation districts and historic districts to try to protect that.
Yeah.
So, you know, there's areas that are protected and celebrated in some aspects, but it's just, you know, new and big. And
yeah,
I appreciate historic homes and the historic architecture, but I also completely understand the desire to have new. And, you know, living in an old home, there's just things that you have to deal with that, you know, it's never going to be perfect. It's, you know, if it's pier and beam, which it would be pier and beam from these time periods, like it's never going to be perfectly straight, you know, perfectly level. There's just things that you have to accept. And so I understand like the want to tear down to be in those locations, but I also hate to see like history erased.
I know.
To be continued.
Back
to Taylor Swift.
So back to Taylor Swift, who, you know, the reason we even started about talking about historic homes is that she celebrates historic homes and she is a proponent of them, for sure. So let's go to Holiday House, my favorite one.
Yes, this has a ton of history attached to it.
I love this house so much. I would love to go there one day. I think it would be amazing. Maybe she'll dedicate it to her fans one day. Taylor, if you're watching, please invite me to Holiday House. I'm just kidding.
Maybe
but
someday it'll be a museum.
That would be
Taylor
so
Swift
cool.
Museum.
I could totally see her doing that, where she just like would never sell it. She would just dedicate it to something. She's very giving.
Yep.
So this home, I don't know when it was built. I wish I'd looked that up, but it's a historic home that was built. It's like the highest point of this beach above the sea in Rhode Island. And it was originally like a watch house for the ocean, or not the ocean, for I think like during war times. She bought this, and there was a really famous owner, Rebecca Harkness, who was like a famous socialite and married the heir to Standard Oil. And Rebecca Harkness was like kind of a new money, like socialite, as Taylor says, a little gauche kind of person. And the locals, this is like a very like private old money community, and the locals didn't like her.
Yeah, she made too much noise.
Yeah. And so Taylor kind of in The Last Great American Dynasty compares herself to Rebecca Harkness, because when she bought that house, there were like a lot of old money people in the area who weren't excited about her buying that house. So
I love the story about when she stole her neighbor's dog.
Yeah.
And dyed him key lime green.
Yes.
Like, I wonder what the neighbor did to her to make her dye the dog key lime green.
I don't know, but it's hilarious and it's ruthless. And hope the dog was okay after that. Yeah, she did a lot of funny things. Like, I think I read a story where she wanted to like join this ballet company or like be a teacher, and they didn't want her because of her like status and just the rumors about her. And so she started her own. And I think she stole a bunch of the teachers or dancers from the other company.
Good.
And didn't you say that they would dance on the lawn?
I heard something or saw something
practice
about that.
on the lawn. Mm-hmm. Yeah.
And now Taylor Swift has her yearly 4th of July party at Holiday House.
She does, with all her girlfriends.
Yes.
Yeah.
I love it. I would just love to be at one of those parties.
Even if I could just like, if they were like, you can't say anything, but you can watch. And I'd be like, done.
Just stay in the corner, not move. Just be there. I don't know. You couldn't do that.
A fly on I don't think I could. I talk a lot. If I could just be a fly on the wall.
Yeah.
Not because I like want to know all the personal things. I just like I want to hear what they're going to talk about. And because I think it's probably like, I bet there's a lot of like cool conversations that go on there.
Well, I think Taylor is like the ultimate girlfriend. Like she is, to be her friend, she's like super loyal and giving. And I mean, Sophia is living in one of her tribeca pet houses right now. Oh, that's right. Yeah. And so just to be a friend like with someone like that would be amazing. Yeah.
I can aspire to be more like that.
Yes.
Yeah. I mean, and she's like that even with her fans too.
Right.
So it's now called Watch House. Mm-hmm. I think the previous owner before Taylor renamed it that. I think she bought that for $17 million. It said a while ago. I want to say 6 or 7 years ago. So I bet it's worth a lot more than that now.
Oh yeah, after like the COVID increases.
Yeah. And just the fact that she's owned it.
Absolutely.
And she probably made it incredible on the inside.
So, Marmy, you mentioned that you think that Taylor might buy something in the near future. Since you are the ultimate Taylor expert.
I don't know if I'm the ultimate Taylor expert, but I do love Taylor.
If you're not, you're pretty darn close.
I mean, I am wearing my 1989 cardigan, and I put my hair in buns like Folklore. I was like, don't you love my Folklore buns? And Melissa was like, I don't know what you're talking about.
Like, look, I've only had 48 hours, 24 hours
to catch up
all of the info on Taylor Swift. But where would you guess that she was going to buy next?
Oh, it's so hard. If Travis Kelce hadn't recently purchased his new home in Kansas City, then I would have said Kansas City. Yeah. But he just purchased that house to be more private. So I don't think it's going to be there. She spends so much time in New York. And so that makes me think she would purchase there. I did read a report that she did just buy another jet. So she's made a big purchase recently. And you'd think she would have purchased more real estate this year for tax benefits, but maybe at some point that doesn't really matter for her. I don't know. I don't know how that all works. I'm not an accountant, okay? I think I could see Taylor buying her next house, probably Pennsylvania. Yeah. Where she grew up. I could see her buying a big farm there, or just a Christmas tree farm.
Oh my gosh.
In my heart is a Christmas tree farm. And I don't know all the words. This is embarrassing. I don't know the words. Like, Taylor, don't watch this. Yeah, probably Pennsylvania. Like, I really think that like she's doing so much. She's doing everything right now. Like, I don't understand how does she also have 24 hours in her day, because it seems like she has more. Like, so I think after the end of the tour, at the end of next year when she's done with the tour, I could see her taking some serious time off, like a couple years. Yeah. Settling down. So maybe she'll get like a farm with like some horses on a pond, like with a lake in Pennsylvania. That's my guess.
I would love that for her.
Yeah, I would too. I think she would really like that. And then she can just, go back to New York or Kansas City whenever she wants.
Yep. And, Taylor, if you ever think about buying in Dallas, Texas.
Yeah, just give us a call. We will help you. And you can spend all the time here that you want. Yep. We can go to coffee. We can hang out. I can even help you write a song if you want. I'm a really good singer. All right. So we will ask you guys which one, if you could choose a Taylor Swift house to own, which one would you like to live in? And you can put it in the comments. Thanks for watching or listening.